Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a story time about how I acquired my first Hermes bag in a boutique. I don't have a purchase history, at least I didn't in the country that I was in, and I didn't have an appointment, so I thought it would be interesting to recall my journey to getting this bag. We went to France in spring in 2023, and I knew that because we'd be spending some time in Paris, the mecca of fashion, that I was going to at least attempt to get an appointment with Hermes. If you're not familiar with France's policy and process, it is that you request an appointment via a lottery system. You go onto a website, you insert your information, and then you're told if you have secured an appointment for the following day. During our trip, we did the first half in northern France. We spent time in Normandy and Mont Saint-Michel, and then we moved on to Paris. When we were in Paris, we stayed in a hotel in the 7th, which was really accessible and walkable to things like shopping. We didn't have plans for the day that we were going to Hermes. We were traveling with my dad and his wife, and then we actually brought Jennings along as well. My dad's wife said, "Hey, I would love for you to see this Hermes store. Should we just go?" Even though we didn't have an appointment, she had a few things she wanted to look at for herself and some things that she wanted to bring home for others. So we went ahead and went. It was fairly close to the time that they opened, so it was in the morning. When we got to the store itself, of course, there were security guards, and they asked if we had an appointment. We said no. Then someone inside who was coordinating the time with the SAs asked if we wanted a French appointment, meaning an SA that spoke French, or if we wanted an English appointment for an SA that spoke English. Luckily, my dad's wife speaks fluent French, and so we opted for a French-speaking appointment, which I think had a little bit to do with the magic that we were able to experience. The gentleman SA was close in age to my dad's wife. I think they had some commonalities as far as maybe places that they had studied, some shared or mutual connections. I was trying to follow along with their conversation. It was kind of like a tennis match, watching them communicate exclusively in French, and I am piecing together what I at least can remember of what they spoke about. We were shopping in the small leather goods and scarves and twilly section, so we were having them pull things out. We were really getting to touch and feel a lot of the items that, for me, where I live, there is no Hermes store. So experiencing the quality, just seeing some of the pieces that I had been admiring from afar was really special. Regardless of the outcome of the appointment, from up until that point, it was a 10 out of 10. I may not speak French, but I do know that a question was asked about, do we have the opportunity to have a leather appointment? Are you able to show us any bags? The reason I know that that question was asked is because of the response. The SA immediately said, no, it's impossible. We can't do that today. And then we just continued on with browsing, trying things on. As the conversation went on, I was recognizing that the bags were being brought back up. Something to the effect of, if there was a bag that you would be looking for, what would you choose? She started gesturing in my direction that the bag questions and any offer of a bag would be for me. That is when things took a little bit of a turn. I realized that it might be an option that a bag would be acquired that day. My knee-jerk reaction for a bag that I'd love, and I still stand by it, was a Birkin 35. I vividly remember in magazines seeing the Olsen twins with these vintage, well-loved, on the brink of being tattered Birkin 35s. Very slouchy, very soft, and that in my mind is what I envision. Less formal and put together, but that would be my number one bag. Interestingly, the essay stopped, kind of gave me an up-down look, and almost felt like a sense of judgment for that bag, and said something to the effect of, that's not the right size bag. I'm just about 5'4", and he was referencing proportion sizes and just said that the bag was too big. It would swallow my frame. So then the essay asked, what about a bag with a strap? I was assuming a crossbody like an Evelyn or a Constance, and at that point, Jennings was 3, so I said yes, hands-free would be awesome. If you're unfamiliar with Hermes boutiques, they have on display, but very clearly marked as not for sale, the most beautiful bags. Versions of their bags in usually really cool or hard to find colors, exotic leathers, just incredible. They have incredible stock behind these acrylic and plexiglass walls. He pointed to the next room to one of the bags in the walls, and it was a Kelly. And he said, what about something like that? And I tried my best to not squeal or have a freak out. And I said, yes, absolutely. From there, he went into the back. I looked at my dad's wife and I said, is this really happening? Am I hallucinating? Is this a fever dream? He came back and said, is there a specific hardware that you would be interested in? And I said gold, to which I got the same up, down, are you sure? I looked at my dad's wife and said, am I giving all of the wrong answers? And she said, no, just tell him what you want. And I said, yes, gold. Once I responded with gold, he said, there's something that I would like to show you. Would you please come with me? I now am aware that this Hermes, I believe, has 3 to 4 floors. We went up to the 3rd floor. We were put into a room, and the gentleman, before he left to get this box behind me, said, I have 3 color options with gold hardware, a dark blue, like a navy, the one that I ended up choosing, and then offered a gold on gold Kelly. The gold on gold was an Epsom leather, which a lot of people really like. It's very sturdy. It's been treated, so it's more scratch resistant, more water resistant, a little bit more durable. But going back to what I envision when I think of those darn Olsen twins is a soft, worn-in, well-loved Hermes bag. So when I knew what leather this was and the styling of this bag, I just knew that it would be perfect for me. Also helpful to note that the color that this bag was a spring 2023 release, so it was a brand new color. This was one of the first bags in this location in this color. The sales associate said it's the first that he himself had seen, and that to me is just very special. I will always associate it with that time. I'm gonna pull it out so we can see it. I've been talking about it and like pointing at it like this. I would love to share it with you. So let me do that. I've washed my hands. I'm ready to handle this baby. And I will give you all of the specs and details. This is my Kelly 28 Retorn. So it is flipped inside out. Once they stitch it together, they literally flip it inside out. And so the edges are less rigid. You can see the gold hardware. So the leather, I said I had specified a type of leather that I would have loved to have had, and this is Clement's leather. So it's very soft. You can kind of see a little bit of, from the last couple of years of use, that it has started to soften just a bit. I think it gives it a well-loved look. I do find that Kelly's are a little more formal, a little bit more buttoned up as a bag. I knew that because that was the direction that the offer was going, that the type of leather was going to be important to me so that it was wearable for my life. The color is Gris Neve. It's French for gray snow. So it's a little bit gray. It pulls green, a little bit of like a blue green, like a seafoam almost, and has a little bit of a silver hint to it. Even with the gold hardware, I think it gives it a nice contrast. I typically will, when I'm wearing this out, will wear it open and a little less put together. So I'll do something like that, or just keep the flap open. I think it gives it a little bit more of a casual vibe. I ordered this immediately after leaving the boutique in France to be ready for me when I got home to the US. It's just a soft bag insert, so that way with this fabric it holds some of its structural integrity. I will insert a picture of it with the strap on it and the twilly that I got that same day. And my collection of twillies, I think, really does change the way that the color is perceived. I have some coral orange twillies that I've put on that really make this pull a little bit more blue than the green. And so I think it's a little bit of a chameleon of a color. I could not be more happy. I still am giddy when I look at it. And for all of my friends and even family who thought it was crazy that I passed up a gold on gold, I'm just hoping that I'm giving myself some good juju and I left it at a boutique for someone who that's their number one bag, and that karma will come back around in the shape of a Birkin Noir with palladium hardware. Don't really care about the leather. I'll take an Epsom leather Birkin. We'll manifest that for 2025. But even if this is the only Hermes bag that I'm ever offered and get, it was such a special experience. It is the best way to commemorate my first trip to Paris, and it was so fun to relive that. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions that maybe I didn't answer about the process of buying an Hermes bag in France, leave a comment. I'd love a like and a subscribe, all the things that everyone asks you to do, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.